Welcome back to The Right Stuff. I'm Veronique Mandel. Well, when it comes to twinship, I don't think there are two siblings who are closer than my next two guests. They are the authors of this book called Mirror, Mirror, and they also have completed a manuscript for their next book called Entwined. And I have a copy of that manuscript, and I don't think they know that I have a copy of it. And I'm going to welcome Alison and Lauren Knight. Welcome to The Right Stuff.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for inviting us.
Now, I have to ask the question that everybody watching will want me to ask. How do people tell you apart? I mean, besides wearing different clothes.
Well, we don't think we look that different, really, from one another. But I am left-handed and she's right-handed because we're mirror image twins, which is partly the reason for the title of our book. And also, I'm a little bit taller, which you can't tell probably seated, but I'm about a half an inch taller.
Now, did your parents ever mix you up?
I don't think, our parents were pretty good with it. I think looking back on some pictures, baby pictures, they don't really know sometimes who's who, or if we're on the phone or...
From the back, they may have some trouble telling us apart, but they're pretty good with it.
I have twins, and when my little boys used to run across the living room when they were very little, I used to think, oh, which one was that? And then I really had to make myself sort of study their facial characteristics, which is how I can now tell you apart. And do people, because you're twins, assume that you're absolutely exactly the same and never tell you apart?
I think that actually in some ways it's the opposite. They think that there must be a distinction between us. And to be honest, I think that our personalities and behaviors are more alike than our looks.
Do you enjoy being twins?
Yes, we do. It doesn't come without stresses, though, for sure. I mean, you're always worried about someone. I think more so than even a mother would worry about a child, because you just feel like it's your other half that you're always concerned about. But there's so many blessings, too.
What kind of challenges do you see, Lauren?
Well, I think one challenge has always been what we want to do for a living, because we'd always like to do something together. And I think that society doesn't really lend itself always to that type of relationship. And we just think we do our best work together, and it's our hope that whatever we do, whether it's teaching or writing, that it's something we can do as a two-person team, or at least have some similarities in what we do.
There is a quote that you used in Mirror, Mirror. It says, it's by Dia Birkin from The Guardian, and it says, unless we construct differences between them, there is the fear that two will meld into one. Do you feel like that?
Yes, we sometimes do. To us, it doesn't bother us too much to be thought of as one. We feel like a unit. Yes, we're capable individuals, and we have our own, we do our own things at times, but we do think that we are one person in a way. Like, at least that's why we have as our subtitle, One Body, Two Soul.
Tell me about
Two
Mirror.
bodies, one soul.
Yes, and it says right here. Tell me about Mirror, Mirror.
Well, it's a book that we started writing when we finished the master's program. We were 25 years old, I believe, and we just didn't know what we wanted to do in life. We were done school. We didn't know if we wanted to go to teachers college at the time. We've since been to teachers college. We were feeling frustrated just in life, where we were at. We felt that we didn't know what we wanted to do, and because we felt these frustrations, we decided to write it down. And we started by each having a laptop, and we would do a lot of talking amongst ourselves. So we knew what each other was writing, but we would just switch laptops back and forth and continue where each other had left off. And we found that in trying to explain where we were at in life, we had to kind of delve into some more sensitive topics.
And then we found that because we had spent so much time writing, maybe this is something that other people would like to read and could benefit, or at least they could feel that we reached out to them in some way.
What was the hardest part about writing a book, especially writing it together? You know, in my journalism career, I've often had to work with other reporters, and we double byline a story, and so the other reporter would write a part and I would write a part, and it's very difficult because, you know, you think your bit is the better bit, So was that difficult?
It actually comes so naturally to us to write together, and we feel we have one voice, and Lauren can write something, and I feel like that's exactly how I would have put it.
And we find with this book, and same with our manuscripts, there's not one page that I know I've written completely myself, especially with so much editing that goes on. There's no, it's so much layering that we feel like it speaks for both of us.
Did you ever come to a point where, and we're going to talk about some of the things that are in the book in a minute, but did you ever have a moment where you read something and you said, well, that's not really the way I would like to put it? Did you ever do that?
No, we've never had that experience really. I really trust anything that Lauren writes, and I do find that she speaks very well for me when that need comes up or that case arises.
And it's interesting because there are a few sections in the book where I have written it, and some sections where Alison has written it, or at least as indicated on the page. But even those sections, say if it's under Alison, I've touched on that as well. And she's touched on the sections that Lauren, myself, has written. So it's kind of confusing in that way, but we feel that it's really blended our voices well together.
And can you tell every bit that you've written?
No, I can't tell you one sentence I've written in there now.
It's extraordinary, and I can't wait for us to talk a bit more about this book. We'll come back in a moment, and when we do, I'll ask them some challenging questions about what's in here.